Spider-Man has been one of the most significant characters in the Marvel Universe since the day he was introduced. For years, Peter Parker was the only Spider-Man, but over time, this has changed. Thanks to the expansion of the Spider-Verse and wider Marvel multiverse, there are tons of strange, powerful, and unusual versions of Spider-Man. These 10 are easily the weirdest ones Marvel's bands of artists and writers have created over the years, and some of them might surprise you. If you stick around till the end, I'll even tell you about an 8-limbed spider-like creature version of Spider-Man who's a serial killer. Number 10. Spider-Maam. One of the oddest and technically oldest versions of Spider-Man isn't a man at all. It's Maybelle Parker from Earth 3123. In her universe, Peter forgot to take his lunch with him on his fateful field trip, so his Aunt May grabbed it and went to give it to him. Instead of Peter, she was bitten by the radioactive spider, and before long, she was the one fighting crime as Spider-Maam. For the most part, Spider-Maam had the same powers as Spider-Man, but due to her age, she wasn't as strong. Regardless, she fought the bad guys, putting herself on the line each time. She ended up telling her family about her powers, and they supported her as Team Spider-Maam. Peter designed and cared for her web shooters, and Spider-Maam even took part in spider-geddon. Number 9. Spider-Ham. If you've seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you doubtless are fully aware of Peter Porker, the spectacular Spider-Ham. You might not know that the character has been around since 1983 and comes from a universe made up of anthropomorphic animals. Peter Porker began life as a spider named Peter, living in May Porker's basement. Her atomic-powered hairdryer filled her body with radiation, and in a fit of madness, she bit Peter. He transformed into an anthropomorphic pig with the powers of a spider, because after all, he began life as a spider. Spider-Ham is a legit superhero on Earth 8311, and he's taken part in several cross-universe events over the years. Number 8. SUPAIDAMAN. In 1979, an officially licensed Japanese television show premiered, and it was all about Spider-Man. Well, actually, it was SPIDER-Man, and he was about as dissimilar from Peter Parker as he could get. Featuring a protagonist by the name of Yamashiro, that boy discovered the sole survivor from planet Spider, who then injected Yamashiro with his blood. Blessed with spider-like powers, Yamashiro uses a special bracelet to call upon his spider protector costume. With his web shooters, Yamashiro becomes SUPAIDAMAN. He also has control over a spaceship that can transform into a giant robot called Leopardon, and his main focus is to battle the evil forces of Professor Monster and his Iron Cross army. Number 7. Man-Spider. Man-Spider has all the same powers as Spider-Man, though his intellect is significantly diminished. He's much stronger and has a few new tricks up his many sleeves. He can fire off webbing from any of his arms without the need for web shooters, and he can also spit acid, so on the one hand he's more powerful, while on the other, he's an uncontrollable brute with no intelligence. Number 6. Spider-Punk. In one alternate universe, Hobie Brown became Spider-Man, and he's not your average superhero. In this universe, Norman Osborn has become the president/dictator, so Hobie leads a revolution against him. For the most part, Spider-Punk has the same superpowers as the Earth 616 Spider-Man, though he does have one thing that Peter Parker doesn't. In his reality, Spider-Punk leads an entire army of renegades who fight for the same cause he does. He even managed to kill Osborn during a riot, achieving his goals. After this, he unmasked for the world and was later recruited to take part in the spider-geddon event. 5. Spider-CYBORG. In a post-apocalyptic future reality, Peter Parker followed the same path he did on Earth 616. He was bitten by a spider and gained superpowers to become Spider-Man. Of course, things are a little bit different in this reality, as he's acquired some serious cybernetic enhancements over the years, which give him an edge on his 616 counterpart. Spider-CYBORG has a bunch of cybernetics attached to his body, including metallic claws, enhanced vision, reinforced legs and muscles, and a giant sonic cannon on his right arm. All of his enhancements made him incredibly powerful, but they also attracted the attention of Karn. He was saved by the superior Spider-Man, who recruited him to defeat Karn once and for all. 4. Six-Armed Spider-Man. Peter Parker is one of the smartest people in the Marvel Universe, but that doesn't mean he doesn't make mistakes. In one classic storyline, he created a potion designed to enhance his superpowers, and it did, but not in the way he intended. It enhanced his powers while pushing him closer to a spider than a human, and he sprouted 4 additional arms. For someone who liked to keep his superhero and civilian lives separate, this was something of a problem. He managed to get rid of the arms, but for a while, he was stronger, more agile, and far more powerful than he was before. Number 3. Penny Parker. Penny Parker is another alternate version of Spider-Man found in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. She hails from Earth 14512, where she allowed a radioactive spider to bite her so she could carry on her father's work. The bite didn't give her powers like other spider people, but it did make it possible to interact with a radioactive spider named Spider. It's Spider, spelled SP//DR, who controls the large mechanical suit seen in the movie, and it's incredibly powerful. It can use almost anything as a weapon and hasn't had any specified limitations in the comics. When put together, Penny Parker and Spider can kick a lot of supervillain butt all over the Spider-Verse. Number 2. Patton Parnel. Patton Parnel is very different from his Spider-Man counterparts due to a number of reasons, and this is actually the Spider-Man version that I was hinting at the very beginning of the video. First and foremost, he's absolutely evil and has killed a lot. He's got different powers than the typical Spider-Man, and they're not pretty. Nor is he when he gets going. He can transform into an 8-limbed spider-like creature with 8 eyes. He also has organic webbing and a nasty disposition. One of his abilities is that he can implant spiders into people just by biting them. In short, he impregnates his prey by biting into them, making him far more disturbing than any other version of this character. Number 1. Zombie Spider-Man. Over on Earth 2149, a zombie plague ravaged the Avengers, leading to Peter Parker's transition from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man into a flesh-eating psychopath. In this universe, he quickly kills and eats Aunt May and Mary Jane before joining his fellow zombies on an all-out smorgasbord of every living person on Earth. He takes part in eating the Silver Surfer and then Galactus, granting him and several others the power cosmic. They then parade around the universe, eating every single morsel of living being they can find. It takes a few years, but they eventually return to Earth. To his credit, he reformed, as well as a zombie could, without anything to eat, of course. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed this list of the 10 insane alternate versions of Spider-Man from across the multiverse, and I hope you're getting a kick out of all these new videos we're making here on this channel. If you don't mind, I'd love you to click that like, subscribe, and perhaps leave a comment. Alright, I'll catch you guys next time.